Hello everyone! Today we are doing a tutorial drawing. As I have heard from many other drawers, or artists, should we say, some people are wondering how to draw eyes. Well, there are many ways you could based off how you like to do certain things, like your style. For example, say we're doing an innocent character, we're going to want to do something round. That's terrible. Something round-ish, very innocent looking. Lots of shine when you talk about it. Draw it, should I say. And this is just a small sketch, but when you do the rounder shape is for more sweeter characters, but when you're doing something a little more sinister, I would probably call it, I'm going to give it more of a narrow, like almost kind of like they're glaring in a certain perspective. So, some people aren't sure how to draw eyelashes, but of course you don't have to do it this way. This is just how I prefer to do it, but it's kind of like loose strokes, and then we fix it up around the eye later. So, just if you get the anatomy of the eye, considering our eyes are like a football shape for the most part, our eyelashes do not look like this, but in certain cartoons they might. So just keep in mind the real anatomy versus the cartoon. It's not always going to be perfect, but if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. People actually do on social media give other people crap because something like, if it were like for a fandom, like I've heard this story about this one girl who drew Rose from Steven's Universe. She drew her skinny, and that kind of, she almost committed suicide because so many people were telling her she sucked, and even the company had to intervene. So if someone says they don't like your drawing, then they just, as Justin Bieber says, need to go love themselves, okay? So, loose strokes when it comes to the eyelashes, and you can fix it up around the inside later, or if you just want to leave it like that for a more natural look, that's fine. Personally, I'd rather use my hands, but in this case, I'm using a stylus pen on my iPad, but, well, technically my dad's, but whatever. Loose strokes. If you're going for a more realistic look, you need like a smaller pupil. And, if you see what I mean here. With the more cartoony, maybe even manga or anime or even chibi-like, you want to go for the really big pupil. With the very small iris, or sometimes it even blends in, as I've noticed from time to time. It's done that. But personally, in this case, I think we're just gonna go with this one. So, I guess I'll be showing you the narrower I use for, well, maybe it's just your art style, but sometimes in certain cases it's used for more sinister characters. So, oops, wrong one. Ha! Sorry if I'm a little dorky, but whatever. Anyway, this is just a sketch, keep in mind. But if you want to make it look somewhat decent, then you might want to get rid of the, okay, I'm putting down the pen. I don't do well with the pen. I prefer my hands, but whatever. So, of course, you make sure that if you want it a little neater, more cartoon-like, I suppose, it'd be good to have thin lines in certain cases, but yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like a, how do we put this? I forgot the name of the shape, but oh well. Kind of like a lopsided rectangle? What do you call that? Like, I don't know. I'll remember later. But it's kind of like that in certain respects. But again, you don't have to like take the advice from me, considering you can draw however you want to draw. If you don't believe you can draw, well, that's what practice is for. So, nice and loose strokes for the eyelashes. I haven't posted a video in a while, so this must be a relief to some of you for at least that I'm posting this, and to you it's just kind of boring. Of course, I don't like the dislike button, just because if you don't like it, then just don't say anything. Now that we have that under control, excuse me, it'd be best to zoom in here and correct some of these small errors first before we continue, because those errors are going to get in your way later. So it's best to get rid of them now. And sometimes the errors look totally fine, though unintentional. However you want to do this is fine, but personally I didn't do this on any character. Sorry, not my thing. Again, this is my dad's iPad, so keep in mind that was an accident. I'm gonna have to fix up the range of these eyelashes in a minute. I mean, if you can't see it from far away or get that well in detail from that distance, it's okay to get in a little closer if you're able to. Personally, I prefer Sketchbook, but sometimes I need to use Procreate, but right now I kind of don't know on my iPad, so I need to rebuy it, which is like almost $6, by the way. But it's not that bad of a tool to use. Now we got that done. If you're going for a more sinister or realistic look in certain cases, you want to do like a small pupil. If you want to leave it like that to give it some life, so to speak. Most people would just put in a circle like this, but no, that kind of cheap looking personally. So you always want to go for like a sloppy oval and give it some definition, like there. Afterwards, it'd be good for a little coloring, But you might want to get the shading in. We're gonna do blue, or yeah, I think we should do red in this case. So make it a little rough to give it more of that realistic. You don't want to be too cartoony, whether you're going for a cartoon or not. Just saying. You want to give it more of a realistic look. And you kind of want to spiral off a bit. So. Wow, that's a lot thinner than I was expecting. Why is everything such occupant? I don't know. But this should work. Okay, so maybe red's not your color, whatever, use what color you want. Just make sure you pick one that stands out the most to you. And when creating a character, make sure, if you're going for a character, make sure the colors match the personality. You always want to come up with the personality first. It just makes more sense, just saying. And try not to make Mary Sue. And don't use like all those traditional hair colors. Well, you can if you want to, but that's not going to make for a very interesting character. Along with the fact that some colors are also oftenly used in anime or different shows. Like in some animes, you see girls with long pink hair. I don't like those kind of people personally. Just seems very unoriginal and very annoying to me for some reason. Maybe that's you too, I don't know, and right now I don't care. So when it comes to the shading, there are many different shading. You just gotta know where the light's positioned. Considering this is an eye, it's most anime characters I've also noticed also have a bangs or something on their forehead to give it more life there. As if you know me well, I actually have bangs myself. So, but don't judge me. Again, you want to leave this with some life. You want to take like a lighter color. Let's add this in. I'm gonna have to fix that small error in a minute. Give me a sec. But as you can tell, it's already got some depth in it by just adding shadows. But imagine what you could do if you could add and blend a little light in along with it. As a matter of fact, you don't actually need that much. As a matter of fact, if you have just several small specks, you could do a lot. But of course, you don't have to go based on what I do. You can come up with your own general style, because maybe that's just you, but whatever. if you notice, you also don't have like the entire cutoff. And you can like play around, position things in different places. And you can kind of blend them in if you want, but hey, that's probably just you. So just play around with it. But hey, it's really up to you. When it comes to separating it from the skin, you want to try to be as careful as you can with that. Because things can go terribly wrong. And, of course, being this is your character, you can come up with whatever skin tone, skin color, whatever you want for it. I think I'm just going to go with a light gray here just to prove a small point. And you also want to get the color of the skin under the eyelashes, so it's not just pure white under there. You also want to give a little depth to with some shading as well. If I had Procreate, I'd be able to section off the part that I want to keep white. Of course, it still would be somewhat of a challenge. It'd be a lot easier. Just make sure you keep it at a but I think you get the point here. Just make sure don't forget to add the shading and the highlighting. Blend it in a little so it's not just completely boring. And run wild with it. And that concludes us for this video.